boxes. Don't just stuff them in places. And don't forget that you're soon going to need them. This is time for KRA filing returns. Keep those receipts safely and in a place where they don't cause a mess. Another area of clutter is in drawers in the kitchen. There are many plastic containers that are not used. There are so many, especially in the kitchen. If you're not using them, get rid of them. If it means having to throw stuff away, just do it, because you'll become more organized, and you'll find that when you're more organized, you live better and are able to do things in a more efficient way. A problem area for women is their wardrobes and dressing mirrors. The constant purchasing of things such as jewelry, shoes, and all these other paraphernalia that women use often lead to a jumbled mess in the bedroom. Take charge of these things and don't store things that you're not using. And also don't forget about your bathroom. Old shampoo bottles, soap slivers, toothpaste tubes, and all these other things can lead to a mess. If you don't take control of clutter, you will soon find yourself going berserk. Take charge and let us help you do it the self-care tips way. I am Irene Joroge.
Starting this Sunday, the Dadas Show is back. A show where women get to be themselves and discuss real issues.
I told them, yes, I made a mistake. I tried to persevere for you guys, but at the same time, we have to move out.
How do you deal with cases whereby the victim decides to forgive the perpetrators?
When somebody talks to you or you see something like that you also encourage them to report, you encourage them to talk about it.
This being an election year, we have given an opportunity to women to express themselves and share their opinions during this crucial time in our country's history.
Particularly for the women, my prayer is that we shall get more women governors, senators and members of parliament elected to parliament.
Ule atachaguliwa kama ni mwanamke, hopefully mimi ningependa kuwe mwanamke. Kama ni mwanaume ama mwanamke, angalia zile issues zenye zina affect wasichana, especially huku chini mashinani.
Starting this Sunday, be sure to tune in.
Good evening to you. This is Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha Arora and welcome to KBC Channel 1, where we'll be telling you what's happening in the country and beyond. Remember, you can always interact with us on social media. The hashtag is Easy Friday at Shiksha Arora. At KBC Channel 1, talk to us on Twitter. Tell us where you're watching from on this day where we've got a brand new addition to the East African community. DRC has officially signed the treaty that joins it to East Africa. Of course, we've also got news when it comes to the upcoming elections, where IEBC has partnered with the National Police Service to make sure that training is in full swing. That and much more. For now, it's time for the highlights.
The free movement of people, goods, and service across the community has boosted trade and strengthened people-to-people ties.
Expanding the bloc, DRC signs the East African Community Treaty.
Any word that we have listed here is a word that has been used as a tool to rally hate against a group of people.
Taming the tongue. Use of the word hatupangwingwi could now cost you. And securing the ballot. IEBC partners with the National Police Service in training.
All right, welcome to Easy Friday. Of course, we'll be starting off with the top story. And on today, on Easy Friday, remember, this is something that, we've been seeing happening. And of course, DRC has officially signed the treaty that it will be officially now as part of East Africa. So that's coming up in a short while. Here's that story.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has started enjoying the benefits of the East African community after the signing of the Treaty of Accession into the regional trading bloc. The colorful signing ceremony at State House, Nairobi, pushes up the EAC market to a population of 300,000 million people. But there is one more step before DRC fully becomes a member of EAC.
The heads of state agreed to formally admit the DRC, but for the DRC to join, it needs to sign the treaty. And we needed to do it quite quickly so that within 6 months of admission, they can deposit the instruments of ratification.
President Kenyatta, who officially welcomed DRC into the East African community, said the move will go a long way in boosting social cohesion, trade, security, investment, and economic interests.
We have already begun to realize the promises of the East African community. The free movement of people, goods, and service across the community has boosted trade and strengthened people-to-people ties, thus enabling us to harness the comparative strength of each member state for the benefit of all and to confront and solve problems together.
DRC President Felix Tshisekedi said the admission of DRC marked a decisive shift in the country's foreign and economic policy.
Ma présence à cet événement vient consolider et couronner.
Without a doubt, our will to work for our people and also with people who are determined to work in a collaborative manner.
President Museveni emphasized the importance of integration, saying it accelerates prosperity through provision of a broader market for goods and improves regional strategic security.
The way forward is integration. Why market? Internal within Uganda, regional within East Africa, then Africa, but then you can also negotiate better with the bigger markets outside.
We just have to get down to do the work that is entailed in the statements we have made to our people of our individual countries as well as the East African community.
Following the signing of the EAC treaty by DRC, all existing non-tariff barriers on the movement of capital, goods, services and people have been removed.
One of the requirements is to be a border, but two, you have to negotiate to and commit to undertake the principles that are enshrined in the treaty.
As the Democratic Republic of Congo officially joins the East African community, making it a 7-member state, now the country is expected to deposit the instruments of acceptance to the Secretary General of the East African community in the next 6 months. Purity Museo, Easy Friday, State House, Nairobi.
All right, now moving on, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, has released a list of popularly used words which will now be considered hate speech and could attract legal action if used. Watu wa kurusha mawe, watajua hawajui, madoadoa, mende, kafir and sipangwingwi are among the outlawed words and phrases which NCIC says have the potential to disturb the peace. Ben Chumba has the details.
4 months away before the August 9 polls, National Cohesion and Integration Commission (NCIC) has published a list of banned words considered to fuel ethnic tensions.
As we read out these words, we urge you to not look at it with the typical political exuberance, but with the soberness.
Words banned for use in English include fumigation, eliminate, uncircumcised, and kill. Words banned in Swahili include watu wa kurusha mawe, watajua hawajui, madoadoa, mende, kafiri, kwekwe, among others. Sheng words which have been flagged include kama noma noma, kama mbaya mbaya, hatupangwingwi, and Operation Linda Kura.
Any word that we have listed here is a word that has been used as a tool to rally hate against a group of people. We are fully aware that politicians will try to say that we are targeting their slogans, but this isn't about slogans.
Several social media platforms considered by the Commission to be main outlets where hate speech is mostly propagated have been flagged. Among those flagged are Kenya Kwanza Alliance and Azimio la Umoja One Kenya political forums on Facebook, as NCIC reiterates its commitment to focus on social media monitoring to ensure peaceful elections.
Most of the social accounts that we have mentioned are anonymous, but working with the Communications Authority and with the DCI, we are able now to actually get to know who these are, even though they appear to be anonymous, plus also, of course, those which are using pseudonyms.
The Commission has at the same time warned politicians against using boda groups as criminal gangs ahead of the August 9 polls.
Those that are now being used by even politicians to become gangs, and they are being trained and they are hired to especially harass and sometimes even attack political opponents. This really must stop.
Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission will train over 250,000 police officers on election security in a move aimed at enhancing the safety of the forthcoming general elections. IEBC CEO Marjan Hussain says the training, which is in partnership with the National Police Service, is a prevention and mitigation measure to ensure the heightened political temperatures do not compromise the conduct of the poll.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is adopting a raft of measures that will see it work closely with the security personnel to ensure peaceful elections come August.
The Commission targets to train 250,000 police officers directly and also to sensitize the rest of Kenyans through other platforms.
IEBC says previous experiences call for a paradigm shift.
Tunasemanga kerere ya chura haizuii ng'ombe kula nini? Kunywa maji. Kwa hivyo kerere politician atapiga, lakini sisi tunatarajia uchaguzi which is very peaceful.
The manuals will enhance our vigilance and readiness to detect and prevent any security breaches pre, during and post elections.
Various stakeholders on board say already there are some red flags that require urgent intervention.
What you can hear from our politicians and their supporters is not healthy. NCIC is worried.
As we roll out to the police officers and others, we remember the owners of the process, the political class, the political parties, and the politicians.
And as IPOA, we are keen to support the National Police Service and IBC to ensure that the police do their work professionally and observe the human rights standards.
Stakeholders said the events witnessed in Uasin Gishu, where people hurled stones at the helicopter of ODM leader Raila Odinga, should be a cause for concern. Meanwhile, IEBC has handed to the DPP the files of Sabina Chege and Moses Kuria, who are facing allegations of vote rigging.
Because there's no vacuum in the law. Those who think there's a vacuum, you are so wrong. Continue doing what you are doing, but the law will catch up with you.
A total of 500,000 election personnel will man the August general election, with 2 police officers at each polling station in 50,000 polling stations gazetted by the Commission. Kamche Menza for Easy Friday.
Now, the latest to do with the SIM registration, where Communications Authority of Kenya Director General Ezra Chiloba says the ongoing SIM registration exercise does not require the use of one's photograph. Chiloba argues that the regulations are not new, as they were enacted in 2015, maintaining that the process of asking network service providers to update their records commenced 2 years ago. Chiloba says there will not be any turning back and asked all eligible persons to ensure they adhere to the directive before the deadline or they risk disconnection. Chiloba is therefore urging Kenyans not to construe the exercise as a punishment, but a precautionary measure.
Do not anticipate that we are going to take a photograph of you. Okay? So if you're duly registered, you don't need to go to your operator or your service provider to get re-registered.
All right, in case you haven't registered your SIM yet, well, the deadline is on April 15th. And that brings us to our first commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment. Remember, you can get in touch with us and let us know where you're watching from. The hashtag is Easy Friday. See you on the other side of the break.
Ili kupata Warumi 8 kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 *815#.
Nina hakika kwamba hakuna kinachoweza kukutenga na upendo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Si kifo, si malaika, si vitu tulivyokuwa navyo au tutakavyokuwa navyo, si mamlaka au chochote kitakachoumbwa. Warumi 8:38 hadi 39.
Kupata Warumi 8, bonyeza *811 *815#. *811 *815#.
Revive this tradition. Let's bring this back. So Davey Boy, anyways, fighting for his family's pride tonight here against Low Key. Wow, going up top. Warriors trying to land on his feet. Davey Boy, look at his eyes. Yeah, and wait a minute. 1, 2, what an honor it would be for Brian Pillman Jr. as a member of the New Heart Foundation to put his name on that. Your beautiful rotating power. Oh my God! Pillman! Promise! 1, 2, Pillman advances in the up.
Weighing in this evening at 190 pounds.
I'm very much comfortable the way I am. Very much comfortable the way I am.
For decades, society has considered Dolan a mystique, whose sense of fashion and personality have remained a mystery to many.
I'm a woman, and again, I'm a man. And I can also have my menses just like women.
Join Sheila Kayaro Yogo this Saturday, 9th April, And this Sunday on 10th April at 9 p.m. as she brings you the story, My Gender Paradox, exclusive to KBC Channel 1.
As I relinquish power, my one message to you is that you should support our new president and our country and give up the good work that you have done so well as to earn the respect that you
Welcome back to the bulletin. Now moving on, Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi has challenged the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to live up to its name and deliver a free and fair election. Mudavadi says IEBC should borrow a leaf from other independent institutions such as the judiciary, which have stood up against partisan interests for the sake of the rule of law.
ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi says the judiciary has set the tone and it is upon the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEBC) to stand with the rule of law and insulate itself against political interference. Mudavadi says IEBC owes Kenyans a credible poll come August.
Hata kwa BBI, kama wewe unasema wewe uko deep state, haya, walipigwa bao ya kwanza na High Court. Na hiko hiyo mambo ya deep state. Haya, wakaenda kwa Court of Appeal na hiyo mamlaka yote tena wakapigwa bao ya pili, hiyo deep state. Wakaenda kwa Supreme Court round hiyo ingine wakabewa dao ya tatu tena na deep state. Sasa wewe mtu anakutisha nini ati deep state mamlaka ya serikali? Wewe wacha bwana.
The ANC leader was meeting aspirants seeking to fly different flags within the Kenya Kwanza alliance in the August general elections.
Hata Moi alikuwa na ushawishi mkubwa. Alikuwa president na alikuwa amesukuma Uhuru kama project. Na alikuwa na ushawishi. Akawa amiri jeshi mkuu wa majeshi yote wakati huo. Lakini Wakenya wakaamua wanataka Kibaki. Na project ya Moi ikaanguka. Sasa ni vile wembe ni ule.
Meanwhile, Kiambu Speaker Stephen Dicho has withdrawn his senatorial bid in favor of former MCA Karongo Wathangwa.
The way you are managing contestants, we believe, is the same way that you are going to manage our country when eventually you take the mantle of being our president for the next 5 years.
It is an indication that in our party UDA, we have leaders who are willing to nurture young leadership.
The party constitution and the nomination rules provide that consensus is an option of arriving at candidates.
The deal was brokered by Deputy President William Ruto in Karen. Gishoke Washira, Easy Friday.
And still on politics, former Kiambu woman representative Anna Nyokabi Gathecha has officially declared interest in the governor's position on a Jubilee Party ticket, setting the stage for a heated contest with incumbent Governor James Nyoro. The two will be contesting for the ruling party's ticket next week. Meanwhile, the Orange Democratic Movement Party nominations held in Malindi on Friday were characterized with chaos. Those who turned up for the exercise protested delays and cancellation of the primaries in one of the wards.
The Kiambu County gubernatorial race continues to gain pace, with former Kiambu woman representative Ann Nyokabi Gathecha joining the list of those seeking to unseat Governor James Nyoro. Nyokabi, who is seeking to compete with the incumbent governor for the Jubilee Party ticket, says that she will, among others, focus on poverty eradication and payment of the county's pending bills if elected.
I do believe that everybody would want a united, cohesive or direction that would be able to provide a leadership that allows people to be able to move forward, to build onto greater heights.
She becomes the 4th woman to join the race for the county's top seat that has attracted about 9 other candidates.
We all rise together as a community, and that's my goal, that's my aim, and I believe that's the leadership that we need at this current time. We've had 3 male governors. Let's try a woman leader.
No nomination! No, yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, the Orange Democratic Movement Party nominations held in Malindi on Friday was marred with chaos, with a section of voters decrying delays in the opening of most polling stations across the 3 wards where the exercise was to take place. A section of aspirants also disputed that the ODM National Elections Board had resolved that all sitting MCAs defending their seats in the party would not be subjected to nominations.
Kama ilikuwa kuna njama yoyote aina yoyote, hatukubali. Haya maamuzi ambayo kwamba yamechukuliwa hatukubaliani nayo na hatutakubali,
na kile ambacho tunataka kuweka wazi ni kwamba tunataka kura ije ground, tupige kura, sio kuchaguliwa mtu kwenye manyumba.
The exercise, however, ran smoothly at Barani and HGM primary polling stations. But a bit of drama was witnessed at Kwaupanga Primary School, with supporters of one aspirant accusing the clerks of favoritism.
Ni swala kidogo ambalo limeleta utata. Kuna tension kidogo kwa sababu wananchi wanahisi kwamba hili zoezi haliendi kiusawa, na wanaona kwamba mwisho wa siku labda zile rights zao zitakuwa hazijati.
And finally, 169 aspirants competing for the ODM party ticket will tomorrow proceed to party primaries if contestants fail to arrive at a consensus by midnight. The party's election board has in the meantime given an assurance of conducting a credible exercise.
Sisi hatufanyi biashara ya kuuza iskrimu. Hii nomination process. Lazima kutakuwa na casualties. Si ndio? So we expect those kind of things. Lakini tunajaribu kama chama through the National Election Board kuwa hizi changamoto ziwe ni ndogo sana ili zikusiwe na big fallouts katika baada ya nomination.
For Easy Friday, I'm Safin Aching Ouma.
Now, the government and development partners have stepped up relief operations by dispatching consignments of food to areas ravaged by drought. Now, this in a bid to avert a looming humanitarian crisis in the country attributed to drought. The relief supplies included rice, beans, beef, and water.
Speaking in Wajir County during the flagging off of a consignment of emergency relief supplies and water to 6 constituencies in the region, Public Service, Gender, Senior Citizens Affairs and Special Programs Cabinet Secretary Professor Margaret Kobia says residents living in arid and semi-arid counties will be cushioned against the effects of drought.
Seasons 3 au miaka 2 hatujapata mvua ya kutosha. Na kwa hivyo serikali imemfikiria sana, imeona tuendelee na kuletea nyinyi chakula.
Kobia added that the government would continue to support and do everything within its powers to assist the most affected counties across the regions.
Naona iko shinda hata kama hatuwezi kutatua yote, government imeanza kumujali na ndio mpate hii chakula tumeleta hapa leo.
The emergency relief supplies included rice, beans, beef and water. Meanwhile, Baringo County Deputy Governor Jacob Chepkoni says the drought situation in the region is at an alarming stage.
We expected the rains in early towards the late March, but which was not there. And also early April there were no rains. And the situation now, we are actually in the alarm stage. And as we speak now, our stores are getting depleted because the situation is worsening.
More than 200,000 people have been affected by the drought and are in dire need of relief assistance. Jacqueline Masharia for Easy Friday.
Now, for many years, the scramble for pasture and theft of livestock for dowry have triggered deadly conflicts amongst pastoralist communities. Tonight, on our weekly feature, My Culture, we focus on how such communities have resorted to cultural ways to address historic disputes. Take a look.
Kibish area, Turkana County, a peace conference is underway. Efforts to mitigate a conflict between two pastoralist communities living in the South Omo Turkana region. The communities are Turkanas from Kenya and Nyangatom from Ethiopia. The dispute between the Nyangatom and Turkana is majorly over the rights to use Nakua River as their livestock watering point, as well as their source of water for domestic use.
Conflict between the Nyangatom and the Turkana, which is ongoing, and all this is brought on because of the cattle wrestling and the conflicts over resources. So we want to intervene as young people, as partners working around these areas, as organizations, civil societies working within the corridors to make sure that we coexist among the Ateker people.
For a long time, the reliable water source of River Nakua has been a no-go zone for unarmed herders. This peace initiative has roped in various stakeholders, including county government, non-governmental organizations, and elders from both sides.
The main mission of this initiative is to bring together the people of the Nyangatom and the Turkana to have a peaceful coexistence on top of the development among the Ateker. We're basically looking at the border areas, the communities that are living together, the Turkana, the Karamojongs from Uganda, the Tokosa from South Sudan, the Teso from Uganda, the Nyangatom from South Omo. So we cover all this is our geographical areas.
We are using a different approach, the cultural approach, but we want to use culture as a means not only to bring people together, but to ensure their peaceful coexistence.
This arbitration method was initiated by the communities living in Uganda and Southern Sudan.
Guns from our pastoralist communities is actually a very positive initiative, and I congratulate Uganda for that.
They will not just embrace peace without addressing the underlying issues that are causing conflict. Lack of water, lack of education for their children, access to food. So the underlying factors that have inflicted the conflict. For communities to be able to accept peace and to be able to live in harmony, there has to be a feeling that they are safe.
After deliberations in Kibish, the team proceeded to Ethiopia to hold talks with the Nyangatom community. Here, most members are armed regardless of age. To kick off the peacemaking exercise, the group took oath and the commander led them to the gathering. Song and dance followed. After the entertainment, peace talks take precedence. After the deliberations, a bull is first speared as a sign of peace. Later on, sheep and goats are also speared to signify peace between the two communities.
Peace is very expensive. You will have to keep on talking to communities, giving them opportunities to speak to themselves so that they get to understand each other, to get to diversify their sources of livelihoods instead of relying on livestock.
Teamwork, the agreement with the discussion. I believe that God will give us a way forward, that the guns will be buried forever and ever.
Now some of our parties, which are South Zomo, are already listed, who have a gun, who have no a gun. After they identify those which have a gun, they're going as the next process, which is to disarm.
Locals were optimistic that with peace, the border region would flourish as a result of peaceful coexistence.
Initiative that we've started will help us, the Nyangatom people and the Turkana, to be in a peaceful way, to live in a peaceful way.
Reporting for My Culture, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
So wakati COVID iliingia hivi, mimi hata hapo stress zote zilianza. Ndio sasa ile laping ilianza juu hata vijana wako mtaa.
Riski kubwa ilikuwa huyu hajielewi huyu mtoto, na wengine bado unaona age yao hawawezi tulia vyenye natulianga kwa nyumba.
Kama mtoto anaweza dhulumiwa, jinsi wanaweza chukua hatua ni kwa sababu wengine hata wajui.
I link the community with the justice system. I also create awareness on the referral pathway.
As times changes, technologies grow, and so you need to be in the know.
We are looking into matters, technology and education.
We bring you tech news from all over the world.
Me, I understand science revolves around life.
Tech policies and programs, Take on Tech has your back. Coming to your screens every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1. Join me, Stephanie Ayeta and Grace Githaga as we serve you with only the best tech updates the world over.
Right, welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, in business, experts are warning of a possible credit crunch following the government's plan to borrow 581.7 billion shillings from locally to bridge the 862.5 billion shillings budget deficit. Ernst & Young tax partner Francis Kamau says commercial banks are likely to prioritize loaning the government to SMEs and individuals who are considered at credit risks.
Projected revenues and grants against the projected expenditure. The fiscal deficit is projected to decline to shilling 862.5 billion. The fiscal deficit will be financed through net external financing of shilling 280 billion, equivalent to 2% of GDP, and net domestic financing of shilling 581 billion, equivalent to 4.2% of GDP.
This year's budget had a deficit of 862.5 billion shillings, which is expected to be plugged by borrowing 581.7 billion shillings from the domestic market and 280.7 billion shillings externally.
I'll take you back to the time Kibaki took over the government in 2002. Of course, what we call the Kibakinomics. And what he basically did in the Kibakinomics is to basically ensure that any amount of debt that the government picks locally is reduced so that the banks don't rely on basically mopping up any particular amount they have and take to government for treasury bills and bonds and all that.
It is the domestic borrowing that is a concern for tax experts who believe it is likely to see the government crowding out businesses and individuals in pursuit of loans.
It is a scenario whereby we're going to see reverse, whereby the government shun the local entities and SMEs, and basically they'll take all their money to which is in a safe place, which is called treasury bills and bonds, so that the government can basically give the interest rates which are a bit higher and safer. And of course, the SMEs are going to suffer so much in terms of access to credit once this trade is taken.
Tax experts from Ernst & Young, Deloitte and PricewaterhouseCoopers have further taken issue with the proposal to effect a 10% increase in excise duty on a number of commodities, saying the move would increase the cost of living. They say the budgetary allocations to agriculture and manufacturing were too low given the contributions of the two sectors to the economy.
Wajiko is contemplating a number of things. One of them is hunger. That was not actually spelled out. I didn't see, apart from the safety nets, but when you put 60 billion into agriculture, it was not. Wajiko is talking about the rising cost, and in terms of stemming inflation, I didn't see that.
Experts are warning that this will make credit access, especially to the private sector, and this time MSMEs, a little bit more of a challenge. I'm Regina Manyara, and you're watching KBC Channel 1.
Now, this is going to make your life a whole lot easier because you can now make mobile payments to Safaricom's Buy Goods Till from Airtel Money and Telkom's T-Cash. This is after Airtel, Safaricom and Telkom announced the first phase of interoperability of their mobile money service platform.
The value of mobile money transactions carried out at agents as a proportion of GDP reached 60% in 2021. This after 2.2 billion mobile transactions valued at 6.9 trillion shillings were done last year. The central bank says the number of mobile money transactions might increase further after Airtel, Safaricom and Telecom launched integration of their mobile money services.
We are able now, all of us, whether it be T-Cash, Airtel Money and Pesa, to be able to interact with merchants with any till, and most importantly, to be able to transact with merchants.
The integration that will be implemented in two phases will see Airtel and Telecom subscribers allowed to make mobile money payments to an M-Pesa Buy Goods Till.
To manage the businesses better, right now it's if they can receive, they're receiving either Telkom must have a till, then M-Pesa till, then I think that introduces a lot of inefficiencies in how businesses should operate.
Phase 2 of the interoperability will allow customers to make mobile money payments from M-Pesa to till numbers on Airtel Money and Telecom's T-Cash.
And I think it's now our responsibility, that is Airtel's responsibility, to ensure that more and more Airtel customers now start using this service.
The central bank believes the integration of the three telecos mobile money services will deepen digitization of payment and reduce the cost of doing business. Benson Rioba for Easy Friday.
Now, Cooperative Bank has opened a branch in Cabernet Town, Baringo County, targeting to finance livestock farmers as well as advising locals on banking issues. Baringo Governor Stanley Kiptis says the bank services will grow the country's economy as well as create job opportunities. Speaking during the official opening of the branch, Coop Bank Director for Retail and Business Banking Division, William Ndumia, appealed to locals to embrace modern financial services.
Livestock is key to us. 45% of our economy is a result of livestock keeping. So it will also help us in ensuring that our farmers understand more of agribusiness, because it's a new phenomenon in our society.
This area has a lot of potential. We've seen a lot of growth in this area. We've done a lot of research, and we've seen the kind of development agenda that has been going on within this area. There's improvement in infrastructure. We've seen a lot of dairy happening, a lot of pastoral community doing a lot of work.
Now, as a farmer, There's a few things that you need to keep hold of, including managing your crop as well as behind the scenes, but it's all going to be efficient and easy for you as agricultural activities have now been made way easier thanks to the Farmers Network app that has seen mechanization and farm management enabled through just a touch of a button. The app offers auxiliary services such as bookkeeping, extension services, and daily farming reports, leaving farmers to just focus on production.
Technological innovations have greatly shaped agriculture. From the creation of the plow to the global positioning system, driven precision farming equipment, GPS, humans have developed new ways to make farming more efficient and produce more food. Farmers Network Africa CEO Alan Oyer says the platform offers auxiliary services to farmers to enable them focus their energies on increasing yields.
The application helps the farmer to be able to focus on his strength. What is a farmer's strength? Production. But the farmer could be weak at doing other things like sourcing the right service provider or factors of production. He could be weak at doing basic bookkeeping. And bookkeeping is very important. Reports are very good for a farmer.
Demand for food is growing as the supply side faces constraints in land and farming inputs, with farmers using the app now able to access services and products and even compare prices to get the best deals.
That currently the application you have is available for farmers who are having smartphones. But what about farmers who don't have smartphones? How can we be more inclusive? Now what we are doing is we are developing the USSD and shortcode platform to be able to inform farmers that, okay, the weather is going to be like this because on the app there is a weather page.
Founders of the app say it is now available in 13 African countries in the east, west and southern of Africa. Reporting for Easy Friday, I am Dutamu Kami.
Now, smallholder farmers will have access to subsidized machine leasing services following an agreement between the Eastern Africa Grain Council and FKEN Leasing. The program will provide finance trade facilitation to increase agriculture, mechanization and efficiency in food production across the region.
Farm mechanization levels remain slow across the country, with Kenya having a dismal 3 tractors per 1,000 hectares. This is attributed to the fact that mechanization is capital intensive and requires special financial products, such as long-term capital, credits, or leasing arrangements, which is beyond smallholder farmers and MSMEs. EAGC argues that even when small-scale farmers have access to farm machines, through leasing repayment plans are compromised by unstable yields which threaten the profitability of the trade. The MOU will cover financing, capacity building, and training of the farmers across the agricultural value chain.
When they have signed on, they've received the equipment, they are actually utilizing them correctly, they are making them busy, they are servicing each other in the farmer group, they are making money out of it, and they're able to raise revenues sufficient to make the monthly repayments and ensure that they do not at all default on their payments.
He says the arrangement will promote mechanization in the value chain for reduced costs, improved efficiency, increased quality standards, and access to better markets and increased incomes for all actors. FKEN Leasing says this approach addresses the pressing issue on collateral when borrowing, a major hindrance to financial access by small and medium enterprises.
The final package that is offered to our farmer group or to the client is a package that is suitable, is a package that is affordable, and is a package that is really what is required.
And the reason that they are not able to access that finance is because they either don't have the collateral, additional collateral that's required by the banks, or they don't have proper financial records or that the banks require to do the assessment.
Hibak Said for Easy Friday.
All right, it's time for the Forex break. And of course, after that, we'll be having Richard Munga, who'll be bringing you the latest in the world of sports.
Starting this Sunday, the Dadas Show is back. A show where women get to be themselves and discuss real issues.
I told them, yes, I made a mistake. I tried to persevere for you guys, but at the same time, we have to move out.
How do you deal with cases whereby the victim decides to forgive the perpetrators?
When somebody talks to you or you see something like that you also encourage them to report, you encourage them to talk about it.
This being an election year, we have given an opportunity to women to express themselves and share their opinions during this crucial time in our country's history.
Particularly for the women, my prayer is that we shall get more women governors, senators and members of parliament elected to parliament.
Ule atachaguliwa kama ni mwanamke, hopefully mimi ningependa kuwe mwanamke, kama ni mwanaume ama mwanamke, angalia zile issues zenye zina affect wasichana, especially huku chini mashinani.
Starting this Sunday, be sure to tune in.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Oh, good evening. As always, it is an honor to have your company for KBC Sports with me, Richard Munga. Now, on to a top story tonight, whereby Christine Ongare, Shafi Bakari and Samuel Njao have booked their places into the finals of their respective bouts at the ongoing Africa Zone 3 Boxing Championship in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Ongare had a difficult time against Tambwe Clark of the DRC in the light flyweight, but managed to beat her opponent in qualifying for the final tomorrow. Shafi Bakari wasted little time securing a final spot after he proved too good in the ring against Museveni Ngwena of DRC in the bantamweight category, while Samuel Njao followed his compatriots by beating Yokan Oko, also of DRC, in the featherweight category to book his place in the final. The Africa Zone 3 Championship ends tomorrow. Actually, in regards to that, just an update. In a bout that ended not so long ago, less than 40 minutes ago, we had Christine Wanjiru giving Kenya her first gold after beating Rais of the DRC in the final. All to other matters now. The Kenya national team that will represent the country at the 24th Summer Deaf Olympics in Brazil has been issued with guidelines to ensure the well-being of the team before, during and after the tournament that is set for May this year. The team is currently camping at the Kasarani Stadium ahead of the games that are slated for fast till the 15th of May 2022.
The Kenya National Deaf Olympics team has been advised to seek help whenever they suspect a mental disorder case. Dr. Rose Ngondi, a clinical psychologist at Chiromo Hospital Group, told the athletes who are camping at Moi International Sports Center Kasarani in Nairobi that choosing to remain silent over a suspected mental problem is likely to develop into a mental illness. Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed had on Wednesday noted widespread mental illness within the sports fraternity. Having taken the athletes through various forms of mental health disorders, which included depression and anxiety, Dr. Ngodi shared with them tips on how to overcome stressful situations. The athletes were also advised on avoiding unnecessary stress, adapting to the stress, accepting that things can change, and altering the situation. The athletes pointed out stigma, lack of awareness, and breach of privacy and confidentiality as some of factors which prevent them from seeking help. At the games scheduled for May 1st to 15 in Brazil, Kenya will field athletes in 5 disciplines, namely athletics men and women, football women, basketball men and women, handball men and women, and golf men.
Also, Engineers Brigade successfully retained the Defence Forces basketball title today after beating Laikipia Air Base team 64-60 in the final match that was played at the Moi Air Base Gymnasium here in Nairobi. The four-day event brought together teams from various formations and bases.
Defending champions, Engineers Brigade retained their title after a fierce battle in the final match against Laikipia Air Base team. This was the second time the two teams met in the final match after facing off in the finals in the last year's edition.
Nothing has changed. It is still the same teams that they've been here. But the difference is now the level of competition, at least. It has gone to a higher level than it was last year.
The four-day event, dubbed CDF Bora Cup Basketball Tournament, kicked off on 4th of this month at the Moi Air Base in Eastleigh, Nairobi. The Engineers Brigade gunned Laikipia Air Base 64-60 full-time, having started strongly winning in three quarters, with Mulero punishing their counterparts with timely free throws in the third quarter.
We started preparing a month ago for this tournament. This being the biggest tournament for the KDF, we prepared well. We were assisted by our formation to be here.
The event brought together teams drawn from various formations and bases, with maximum efforts shown from the respective teams. The Laikipia Air Base team, which has relatively new members, managed to give the Engineers a run despite their loss. Brigadier Samuel Kosgei, the base commander Moi Air Base, says there is need to hold more of such tournaments as they help spot talent for the Ulinzi Warriors team, which is the KDF basketball team that also participates in the Premier League tier of the basketball. Reporting for sports, I'm Nora Mwangi.
Now let's switch a bit to matters football, whereby AFC Leopards head coach Patrick Sems has expressed his concerns over the quality of Thika Stadium ahead of their clash against Wazito FC this weekend. Leopards currently sit 10th on the Kenya Premier League log on 31 points, while Wazito are 11 points behind, sitting pretty in the 16th position.
Leopards, who put up a classy show thrashing Kenya Police FC 3-0 at the Nyayo National Stadium last weekend, will be hoping to build on the same momentum when they play against the Fred Ambani-led Wazito this weekend. 56-year-old Leopards coach Patrick Uzems, who joined the Den in February last year, has urged the team's management to retain 90% of the current players if they have to compete for the title next season. First choice goalkeeper Levis Opio, who is still nursing an injury, is optimistic of a bright future at the Den, saying with the current chemistry in the playing unit, the team is destined for greatness. Leopards, who have parted ways with three players in Colin Sichenje moving to Sweden, Marvin Nabwire and Dan Musamali in police training, are currently lying in position 10 with 31 points from 23 matches. Meanwhile, KCB assistant coach Godfrey Odor has called for calm from the supporters amidst the growing pressure to register positive results in the league. The Bankers currently sit 6th on the log with 38 points, 14 behind league leaders Kakamega Homeboys. They are set to face 7th placed Kariobangi Sharks, who are also struggling to register positive results. In other matches set for this weekend, Tusker will host Gor Mahia, Police play Talanta, Nzoia host Bandari, while Ulinzi meet City Stars.
Oh, Buckley further with that report. Thank you, Buckley. Now, internationally, 10-man West Ham United kept their hopes of reaching a fast European semi-final since 1976 actually alive by battling to a 1-1 draw in the first leg of the Europa League quarter-final tie with Lyon at the London Stadium. RB Leipzig of Germany also played out to a 1-1 draw with Atalanta. The same score recorded in the match between Eintracht Frankfurt and Barcelona, while Sporting Braga were the only side to secure victory in the first leg, beating Rangers of Scotland 1-0.
Well, he couldn't miss. Tongue and Dombele.
Rangers will need to come from behind in Glasgow to reach the semi-finals of the Europa League after falling to a disappointing 1-0 defeat in Braga.
Only gone and done it again for Braga. And much more than just a big battering ram, almost an old-fashioned sort of centre forward.
Well, that's all the time we have for sports, but kindly just a minute, just a simple update. Football leagues continue this weekend, not only the Kenya Premier League, you also have the European leagues. And tonight, as we speak actually, at St. James Park, we have Newcastle United taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. And tomorrow you have Everton hosting Manchester United at Goodison Park. Chelsea will be looking for redemption after 2 losses to Brentford 4-1, Real Madrid 3-1 when they play away to Southampton at St. Mary's. Arsenal will host, of course, Brighton and Hove Albion, while the late kickoff match will feature Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur. The big match of the weekend, of course, being Liverpool taking on Manchester City, a match that could decisively, or rather definitely decide the champion of the EPL this season. That match will be on Sunday at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City hosting Liverpool FC. That's all the time we had for sports. I'm Richard Munga, but don't go too far. Shiksha Arora is on the other side of the studio. Have a good night.
Thank you for that update, Richard Munga. Now, coming up next, we've got a very talented young artist. Her name is Faith Stan. Of course, we've seen her, do her thing for the past 2 to 3 years, where she has been very popular amongst the youth. Of course, famous for R&B, her Afro pop, plus a lot more. So we'll be speaking to her as we ask her about her journey in the industry. So don't go too far. That's coming in a short while right here on KBC Channel 1. This is Easy Friday. Remember, talk to us on social media at Shiksha Arora, at Faith Stan, and at KBC Channel 1.
Tafuta ukuta ya kujishikilia, maji telemusha kama River Nile. I'll do it for the streets, for my people, everybody that has been there before. It don't come easy, how to do with defeat. No retreat. Take one for the team, for you people. Wengine watajwe kwa wimbo, mabeshte wabebe kwa limo, and keep it real. Why? Rock off and wine. Ikikubamba ushike ukuta, wine. Rock off and wine. Na ikikwama ipake mafuta, wine. Rock off and wine. Ebuke ukanishike matuta, wine. Rock off and wine. Rock off and wine. So that I made it in African time. I'm an African child, na niko ready kukupea good times in the African style. Organize, we legalize. Leo kila kitu ni surprise. Tesa bila ku apologize. Cause I do it for the streets, for my ghetto. Everybody that has been there before. It's never easy, hatujui defeat. No retreat. Leo party kwenye streets with my people. Wengine kwa nyumba koni.
Chest
Faith Stan right here on KBC Channel 1. This is Easy Friday. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, you can get in touch with us. The hashtag is Easy Friday. Tell us where you're watching from. And of course, if you've got any questions for the gorgeous, the talented Faith Stan, send them in. We'll definitely be getting a little up close and personal. So Faith, maybe we can have a seat.
Okay.
That was a great performance, by the way. Loved it.
Very much.
I think you've got a very infectious energy. You've got a very beautiful smile. I'm sure you get that a lot from your fans. You've got a very baby face. Do people tell you that?
Yeah,
all the time? For me, like, you look so much younger than you actually are.
I get that a lot.
You
too.
do, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Faith, tell us a little about yourself. We know you are a songwriter, you are a singer, you're a performer. You really like to lean towards R&B music. You know, you have this thing for Afro music as well. And I've seen a lot of soul in your songs. What is the kind of music that really just makes you happy?
Well, I think any Afrobeat.
Afrobeat.
Yes.
Yes.
And if I feel a beat, I can go with it. I can write about anything if I have a nice and great Afrobeat.
Yeah. Anything.
Yes. Anything. So I'm a secular artist.
Okay.
And my name is Faith Stan, my artistic name that is.
Yes.
And yeah, I love good music. That's why mostly I'm into Afrobeat.
Yeah. Have you trained as a singer at any point in your life?
No.
Not
I just
really.
like singing a lot in the bathroom, everywhere, so that I can train my voice.
Yeah. I'm guessing you spend a lot of time rehearsing as well behind the scenes.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of effort that goes into the art. People just think that, you know, you wake up one day and you're like, okay, I want to be a singer today. When did you realize that this is what you want to do for the rest of your life?
I think it was after high school, because when I was in high school, I used to be in music, drama. I used to love music a lot and drama, but I did not realize that I could do it as a career until I finished Form 4. Now I started writing. But my dad was always like, hey, are you writing love songs or what? I'm like, no, these are songs. So I couldn't understand until I did my very first song. It's called I Choose You.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I think I went to the studio, and then when I had myself, after I recorded, I felt like, you see, like, I can do this.
Maybe I can sing.
Yes, maybe I can sing. I'm not really bad.
No, you sound great.
Thank
I mean, I like
you.
the fact that you said that you actually decided to write first before you started singing.
Yes.
And would you like to write for, you know, some big names in the industry at some point in time? Have you already done that?
Not really, but if I get that chance, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe in myself, and I'm a great writer.
You're a great writer. I like that.
Yes.
So what kind of songs do you write about? You know, love songs or?
Mostly it's love songs and good music, especially maybe if it's danceable. Yeah.
Okay.
A song that when you listen to it, you can just, you know,
you get a good
you
vibe
can
when
feel
you
it.
Yeah, an upbeat song.
Yes.
Okay, that's your kind of music.
Yeah.
Who are some of your inspirations in the industry? I read somewhere that you really look up to Vanessa Mdee. You really look up to, you know, yes, there's a few artists that really make you feel inspired. So in Kenya, if you were to name a few, who do you look up to in the industry?
When I look at female, we are very few actually.
Yes.
I think Nadia.
She's amazing.
Yeah. I like the way she does her music. She has a bit Afro in it, and the energy, you see, when you believe in yourself as a woman. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah. So, and with Shiba from Uganda, I like the vibe, the energy, and the type of music she does, because I like when I'm on stage, I really own it. You make people feel like they're part of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So I like Shiba and Vinka as well.
Okay.
The energy, for me it's the energy, because you know, when you're an artist, you're meant to entertain people.
Yes.
So yeah.
Right. And when would you say, you know, your career just took off? Because obviously everyone starts slow. So how long have you been doing this for? And when do you think you finally start getting some recognition?
So I've been doing my music for 7 years now.
Wow.
And I can say, unfortunately or fortunately, I blew 2 years ago. After I did
during
the
COVID, I'm guessing.
Yes. And during that time, the COVID, we were on a lockdown. So the song went. I didn't expect it to go that much, It took me as a surprise. So it was one of my, actually, my high moment, I can say.
Yeah, it was viral on TikTok. I've even done a video to it.
Really?
Yeah, so like when I heard you perform, I was like, oh, this is her. This is the song.
Yes,
yeah, it actually did really well.
Yeah.
It was on the radio station, and we heard it everywhere. It was everywhere in Kenya for a while.
Even out in Kenya.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of calls.
And did you expect it? Did you think that would ever happen to you with this song?
No. Actually, I had done 2 songs.
Okay.
The one I did, Kitaeleweka and Jirani.
Okay.
And actually, unfortunately, most people are like, Kitaeleweka will go.
Really?
Because it has this message, inspiring message for especially upcoming artists and anybody who's really struggling in life.
Yeah.
But for Jirani, it was not really a serious project.
Just a fun song.
Yes, with the Mama Wololo, Jirani and Mejibeba, it was never a serious project, but it took everybody with surprise.
That's nice. That's lovely. What projects are you working in? What can we expect from you in the near future? Any exciting collaborations that are in the loop?
Yes, I'm working with amazing artists. Let's take music, Kenyan music international. That's what really I want to do.
Yeah. Any male artists that you really want to work with? I know you've worked with Timmy Tidat.
Yes.
Anyone else in particular?
I would love to work with Otile Brown. Oh my God. Yes.
Otile Brown is amazing as well.
And Masauti, They have this thing with love songs that I really like.
You really like love songs, don't you?
They say mziki ni hisia. So when you feel that, it's amazing.
Are you a romantic person?
Definitely.
Yeah. So are your songs inspired by your love life? Are you somebody who actually writes based on your experiences in the past with your relationships?
Not really. I'm that person who think a lot.
Okay.
Anytime, whether I'm in this mood, if I'm in that heartbreaking mood or happy mood, so that is where the idea really comes from. I like thinking okay, it gives me that idea.
Okay.
The topic, what am I going to write about next? Because I've been doing a lot of songs, but I feel like this time, let me give a heartbreak song. And then I feel like not only me, most ladies, we like crying and getting pity and stuff. So I feel like they can relate more.
Do you know, it's crazy because every time you look at the industry in general, some of the biggest names, some of the biggest artists have actually managed to go viral through heartbreak. I mean, if you look at Adele, Taylor Swift, I feel like all these artists actually blew up and really just went viral because of a heartbreak. So it's not really a bad thing for an artist.
It's not, because we're human anyway. We fall in love, sometimes we're broken and stuff.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Faith, tell me something about your childhood growing up. What were some of your interests? Were your parents strict? We'd like to know a little about your background and where you come from.
Well, I was born in Nakuru, but I was raised part of it in Kisii.
Okay.
And then with my music, I like music. I used to listen to songs a lot, and my dad and my mom too as well. They have those social parents. I'm so glad I have them.
That's amazing.
And they've been so supportive, because the first time I told you, my dad used to read my lyrics, and then he used to say, you can have your letters. I'm like, Dad, these are not letters, these are lyrics.
Songs,
but the moment he heard my song, he was so excited. I didn't expect them to take it lightly, because I'm a female. I'll have to go to clubs to perform.
Yeah.
But because it took me by surprise, because they were so excited. My dad was like, hey, you're talented, so you can sing. My mom was like, hey, we have Msanii in the house. Yeah. So it was something amazing. And then they've been so supportive. My whole family, my sister, my brother, everybody. Even the whole village in Kisii, they were just joining in. Hey, we have an artist.
What are you telling us? Yes, that's really lovely.
It's been amazing. It's not been a challenge from my family side, I can say. Yeah.
So you've mentioned challenges, and as an artist, I feel like it's tough. It's tough to break through firstly, and then even once you have a name for yourself and people actually know who you are, to be able to maintain that rapport and reputation. I feel like there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't really know about. Maybe you can take us to some of your challenging moments in your career where you actually thought that this is it, this is the end, I don't want to go any further because of the situations that you found yourself in.
So we have a lot of challenges, especially being a lady in the industry.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Actually, I could have given up so long time ago, but because of the passion and the love I have for music keeps me going.
Yeah.
Some challenges are like You see, like, you really want something. Somebody sees something in you, like you're really talented, you're beautiful, but again, they can't just help you or show you a way. They want something in return.
Yes.
You see, then you're like, why can't you just, if you see talent in me, why can't we do that business?
Yeah.
You see, so it's been really difficult, especially because most of these people, you find them like they're in a position of helping you, but again, they want something that you know you cannot really give.
Yes.
You see, and then another challenge is finance. Sometimes when you need to, like, let's say shoot a quality video, you need money.
Of course.
Yeah. And when you're a student or you don't have really a stable business, you depend fully on music.
Yes.
So you have to wait until maybe some YouTube pays you, or you get a gig once in a while, and then the same money you'll use it to do your videos. So it's really challenging when you don't have someone who's really investing in your business.
Your brother is an artist, of course. He's a producer. And did he really support you when you told him that this is what I want to do? How was that conversation the first time you told him, look, I want to do this?
Actually, my brother is younger than me, but he's an artist as well. And
before you, right?
No. I was the first person.
Really?
I think maybe I inspired him.
I always thought that he was the one who inspired you.
No, because he was in school when I started my music.
Wow.
He was in Form 4. So after I started doing raps in most of my songs, and then people are like, oh, you just carry him because he's your sibling. I'm like, okay, let's do it solos.
Yes.
And then I think he even has this passion in videography, so he's more of videos. He's been doing actually my video. He shot Jirani video.
No ways.
Yes, he did.
That's interesting. That's very nice.
Yeah. So my dad got him a camera because he was really passionate about it. And then he was like, because you're my sister, I won't let people play with you, in the industry. I know this industry, so I'll be shooting your videos. So the only challenge I had maybe getting the logistic money, and then I get him on the board, and then he just shoot my videos.
Lovely. I love that. You have support from your brother as well.
Yeah.
You work together. You have a really good relationship. You have a good bond. It's very nice to see, because sometimes when you're in the same industry with a sibling, I feel like there's always some clashing, right? You're always like clashing with each other. Because it's hard. It's hard to work together, and it's hard to be a family as well as be, colleagues, right? Peers.
With my brother, I feel even when I'm going somewhere, I'm performing, or I'm having something that I'm supposed to be there. Trust me, he's the first person who gathers people together and tells them,
beautiful.
Come, my sister is a star. Even when we're performing, he tells the producers, my sister is performing the last one. She's a big deal.
I love it.
He's so proud of me.
That's lovely. I really like that. Any message that you have for the upcoming artists, people who are also, trying to break through but like struggling? Where do they begin? What do they do? Any tips for them?
Well, first thing, you have to believe in God. The second thing, you have to believe in yourself and really work hard. Don't expect like something because people will come with different intentions, but if you know what you want, just work hard and you'll get it.
You'll get it. At the end of the day, work hard.
Yes,
right?
If you know what you want.
I like that. That's great advice. Hard work always pays off. I mean, you said that you've been doing this for 7 years, and it took you 5 years for a song to actually to just blow up and like go viral. So it's amazing, because I feel like the good thing is you didn't stop.
I did.
You kept at it, and you kept going.
And because my music was the only thing that stayed when most people left. Because when my song blew, most people were like, "Oh, are you in a cult?" You see, like, because you just blew. You see?
What? People actually said that?
Yeah, it was so unbelievable for them.
For
me
friends.
being in Kisii and doing a song to blow everywhere. So I think maybe, I don't know. But for me, it kept me going, because I felt if I can do a song and it gets everywhere from there, what if I get now the sources and the strategy means I can go higher.
Amazing. I love that you're so positive. It's a great attitude to have. Keep it up. Any message to your fans, people who are watching you, who support you, who love your music?
People who are watching me, I love you so much, and I'll never stop my music because of you guys, because you guys watch me, and good things are coming. Keep watching.
Yes, good things absolutely are on the way for Faith. Thank you so much for coming. You know, it was a pleasure hosting you and just having a conversation with you about your career. And just all the best. Keep at it. And I'm looking forward to hearing more of you and seeing more of you.
Okay, definitely.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Easy Friday. We'll do this again next week, same time, same place. Until then, don't go too far. DJ Koljak's on the decks. He will be doing some disco funk right now, so make sure you're locked only on KBC Channel 1. Shiksha Arora signing out. Good night.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
I'm very much comfortable the way I am. Very much